What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got Aave, Uniswap, and Ethena. These three cryptos have been pumping a lot over the last 24 hours, and I'm sure you're all wondering, why are they pumping? How high are they going to go? That kind of stuff. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, guys, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal crypto trading strategy. It's my personal analysis of these cryptos. Your analysis, your trading strategy might be different, and honestly, guys, if it is, that's awesome. The more difference of opinion we have, the better traders, the better investors we're all going to become, as I'm going to be saying in every video. So with that being said, guys, let's get started here and take a look at why Aave is pumping. Of course, the main reason seems to be because basically crypto wallets that are affiliated with Trump, or I guess with World Liberty Financial, his DeFi protocol, they've been buying basically Aave and ETH, and I think also Chainlink. So it's kind of funny. Of course, we covered Chainlink. I think it was yesterday, and I was saying, like I'm not sure what catalyst is gonna do it, that something would come, and this is, I guess, what it was. But in all seriousness, guys, I do think that the Aave pump here is probably over for now. But I do think that going forward, there could be like a second leg higher. But I think for now it's going to be over. But I guess first I'll explain why I think it could continue in the not too distant future. So for those of you who don't know, like, a lot of DeFi is powered by stablecoins. Like, basically what people will do is they will use their Ethereum and Bitcoin as collateral. Like, they just like lock it up, and then they use it to borrow against, and they borrow against it using stablecoins. So for example, they'll deposit, I don't know, like $10,000 of Ethereum, and then they'll borrow like $5,000 of stablecoins. And usually the way they would do this was with USDC. But what you're starting to see is PayPal's PYUSD become more used in DeFi. And Aave 10 hours ago, like just recently, they announced basically some incentives with PYUSD. PayPal's getting very involved on Ethereum and Solana, and I think that this is something that you can't ignore, because PayPal's, I believe, the world's largest payment processor. They have like a 50-something% market share, like 55 or something. But PayPal processes most of the world's transactions, and now they have a stablecoin. They're starting to grow on Ethereum and Solana, and this is something, guys, that you really need to be paying attention. And I think it's going to be very beneficial, not just for these chains, but for the protocols where PYUSD is being launched on. So I do think that this is something that's going to be bullish for Aave in the future. But of course, guys, we have to take things one step at a time. And with that being said, we can turn over to the charts here, and I do think that the Aave move is over. Kind of like as I was just saying, we have a starting point of around $200, resistance of around $285 quite clearly, and of course Aave did breach that. But when you add the difference, which is just $85, and you add that to the resistance, we end up with a target of $370. And at the time of shooting, Aave is trading at around 360. So it's got, I don't know, like a couple of percentage points left in the tank. Maybe it'll start chopping around that range a little bit, and then continue moving higher, like, the way that we saw back here. Then maybe you'll see like a rejection, and like a few days of chop before it keeps headed higher. That's probably my base case. But for the time being, I do think that this move is over. So if you're trying to, like, if you're aping in or you're trying to trade this, my personal opinion is that there's better opportunities, to be had. And actually, Uniswap and Ethena seem to be two of those. But of course, before we get to that, guys, I do need to shill our Coin Bureau deals page, where we have the sign up rewards on Bybit, which we were just using, up to $60,000. And of course, we also have trading fee discounts on Blowfin, OKX, KuCoin, and Binance. As I've been saying, guys, and I'm going to keep saying, like, even if you're not a whale, even if you're just trading frequently, like with a few $100s, like, these trading fee discounts are going to help you a lot. So do take advantage of those using the link in the description. It doesn't cost you a thing. The exchange gets a new user. We get a cut of your trading fees. You get a trading fee discount. So it's a win-win-win for all three of us, right? For all three parties involved. But with that being said, guys, let's move over now to Uniswap. So this is where things get a little bit more complicated, let's say, and also more bullish. So of course, Uniswap has their own layer 2 that's coming out. It's in the process of being developed. So that's kind of like one bullish catalyst that's still coming up. Of course, now that we're seeing capital move into Ethereum's ecosystem, we're seeing a lot of trading happening on Uniswap. Uniswap actually added more ways to basically top up I think on the mobile app, basically making it easier to on ramp to deposit fiat and to buy crypto on the DEX. So I do think that there's a lot of liquidity moving. Well, I mean, we know that there's a lot of liquidity moving into Ethereum, and I do think that the additions of these payment interfaces, let's say, these on ramps, is going to help a lot get even more liquidity in there, specifically onto Uniswap. And of course, Uniswap is like the top DEX on Ethereum, so that's where all the trading, all the speculating is going to be happening. So with that in mind, the price targets here start to make, I guess, a little bit more sense than as they did with Aave. So let's take things one step at a time, guys. Here, the starting point for Uniswap is quite clearly, I would say, around $10, a nice psychological level. Resistance roughly around $20. It's like maybe closer to $19. Again, like when you get to these psychological levels, sometimes there's a little bit of front running. Like you can make the case here that maybe the resistance level is somewhere closer, also like $9, somewhere around $9 or $10 starting point. Around $19 or $20 is the resistance, and that gives us a target of roughly $29 or $30, of course, because the difference there is roughly $10. And of course, from the current price, you're looking at an upside of more than 50%. I think specifically be around 55% or 56%. Yeah, 57% actually. And of course, if Uni does get rejected from this like $19, $20 level, then it could fall as low as this $14 support, which you could see a couple days ago was holding up quite nicely. A lot of people were buying that dip. But do keep in mind, guys, that Uni needs to get above this resistance level before you start, licking your chops and then thinking it's going to hit that $29 or $30 target. It needs to get above that $20 level first, and it still hasn't done that. But I do think that, with this bullish pattern that's playing out here, I think that's going to happen in the next couple days, and I think Uni is going to keep powering higher, just like with the rest of Ethereum's ecosystem, which is something I've been not literally, but I've been pounding the table about this, I think, for a couple weeks now, guys, and it's really nice to see that thesis play out with that capital rotation into Ethereum's ecosystem. And that leads us quite nicely also into Ethena, is where things get even more complicated and also even more bullish. Of course, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Ethena is basically this decentralized stablecoin where the yield comes from the fees that are being paid by traders that are going long on exchanges. I know it's a little bit complicated. It is actually quite complicated, but long story short, the USDE stablecoin is backed by basically like let's say some amount of spot Bitcoin. So you would have like, I don't know, like 1 Bitcoin, and then you have like a 1 Bitcoin short. And the reason why you do that is because if the price goes up, then the value of the spot, like the value of the Bitcoin you're holding, goes up, but then the value of the short goes down. So you basically end up with the same amount. So it kind of keeps like a stable value in theory. And where the yield comes from is the fact that when you're going short, when everyone else is going long, then you're basically earning the fees from the longs. Of course, like the exchanges earn a lot of these fees, but when you're going short and on an exchange, you're being paid fees from all the people that are going long. And basically what Ethena does is it passes on this short yield to USDE holders. And because there's that corresponding spot position, so even when the price goes up and the value of the short position goes down, you haven't lost any money because you're actually holding a physical Bitcoin at the same time. It's like a very common strategy used by like hedge funds and stuff like that. But point being, guys, the more that people go long, the more that traders are trading, I guess like betting that prices are going to go up, which of course they're doing because all the prices are going up, the more that the USDE stablecoin yield will increase, and the more that the ENA token is going to be capturing some of that yield and some of that value. And this brings us quite nicely, guys, to the charts here. So again, similarly to Uniswap, ENA is looking really bullish, and actually it's already broken above this resistance, but let's just get to that in a second. Starting point is clearly around 50 cents, resistance roughly around $1, and of course the difference there is 50 cents. So we take the difference, add it to the resistance, that gives us a target of $1.50, which from current prices I think is around 40%. Yeah, 38%, 40% roughly from current prices, because ENA is already above this resistance. But we do need to see at least a day or two, like just to be on the safe side, maybe just wait like a day or two to see, to make sure that it closes above that level. Maybe it'll go above and then like pull back a little bit and like bounce from the dollar and then keep going higher. That's really common. But yeah, the ENA is definitely looking really good. There's a lot of bullish momentum there, and I do think this is going to keep powering higher. And in my opinion, this is one of these DeFi cryptos that a lot of people are sleeping on simply because they don't understand the mechanism. And I apologize to those of you who are in the comments saying, you explained it, but I still don't understand. You can watch our video about Ethena on the main channel. We explain it. I think it's like a half-hour video, so we explain it, as simply as we can on the main channel, the Ethena protocol. So be sure to check that out if you're having a hard time wrapping your head around it. I do think this is a crypto that people need to watch, and it's one, of course, I think I was calling for a price target somewhere around 65 cents before, and of course it chopped around that range, and then it kept heading higher. And I do think the same thing will happen for ENA once it hits $1.50. Same thing for Uniswap when it hits $30. I was thinking of Aave there. When Aave hits when Aave hits 370, doing these numbers off the top of my head, guys. When Aave hits 370, then it's probably also going to chop. Like all these three cryptos, when they hit their targets, they're going to be chopping, and then they're going to keep headed higher, because I do think that we're in a full-blown altcoin season. And as I was saying yesterday, guys, watch the alpha at the end of yesterday's video if you didn't see that. That I do think that the altcoin season that's coming over the next month or so is going to be absolutely enormous, and I don't think people fully understand how big it's going to be. And of course, that brings me quite nicely to the Coin Bureau Club here, which of course I'm going to be shilling at the end of every single video, just before I give you this alpha that I'm always sharing. The Coin Bureau Club is where you can find weekly altcoin reviews of small caps. The way that we choose these altcoins is basically by running polls every single week that our members vote on. It's like a combination of like suggestions from our members, and also like the altcoins that we find in our research. Those we kind of like mix those up and we add those to the poll, and then we basically review those altcoins every single Friday. The review going out tomorrow is for Starcoin, which is kind of like a higher risk, higher reward bet on like Sui and Aptos. So if that's something that interests you, then be sure to become a member before that video goes out tomorrow. We also have a research feed where all of us are sharing like our insights about the crypto market. I'm sharing insights there every single day, and as I've been saying, a lot of the insights that I'm sharing at the end of these videos are coming from the stuff that I'm sharing in the research feed. And of course, it just scratches the surface of all the stuff I'm sharing there. Of course, we showcase our personal crypto portfolios as well as the cryptos that we're watching. We have an exclusive deals page where you can find like super big discounts on like these crypto analytics platforms and stuff like that. And we have a members Discord where you can ask us questions and where I'm doing technical analysis on Bitcoin and Ethereum every single day. And I will say, guys, I'm quite happy. I called almost perfectly, on the 4-hour chart. I was calling this dip for Bitcoin earlier this week. It was absolutely perfect. I called that almost like to a T. But with that being said, guys, this is where I want to kind of like open things up a little bit and get a little bit speculative, let's say. So for those of you who don't know, Pudgy Penguins is an NFT collection on Ethereum. I remember hearing some podcast about it, I think earlier this year. A lot of these influencers seem to be pumping it. A lot of institutions seems to be on board. It's just very interesting to me that that Pudgy Penguins is like kind of like come out of nowhere and like now it's like pumping like crazy. And in retrospect, I probably should have bought when I heard it was like for insiders. But even back then, guys, like the cost of like one of these Pudgy Penguins was like $15,000 or something. I'm sorry, but like first of all, I don't even know where I would find that kind of money. But even if I had that kind of money, it's like, come on, like on an NFT, I'd rather like put it into altcoins that have like potential. You know what I mean? And it's easier to sell these altcoins than an NFT, obviously. But with that being said, guys, Pudgy Penguins basically seems to be a very, very, let's say, well-connected NFT project. They seem to be, like I said, like in bed with lots of influencers, in bed with lots of institutional investors, lots of crypto media. There seems to be a really orchestrated effort, let's say, to really pump up this NFT collection. So, and then I'm sure a lot of you are probably looking, thinking, well, like, I'm not going to spend now 100 grand on this NFT. And I wouldn't either, like, but Jesus, like you could buy a house with that money in some countries, with that being said, guys, this is where things get interesting, is that Pudgy Penguins is going to be airdropping a token on Solana. Okay, like, let me say that again. Pudgy Penguins on Ethereum, airdropping token on Solana. Two things that kind of tells me. One is that the same entities, like the same pool of capital that's behind Pudgy Penguins, I suspect that a lot of them are going to be moving some of that capital, or maybe even most of that capital, onto Solana. Like, because right now, I guess, like to recap, right now we're seeing a lot of capital move into Ethereum's ecosystem. And of course, when we're trading, when we're investing, we always have to ask what's coming next. And the thing that's coming next, in my opinion, is that after this whole pump and everything has happened in Ethereum's ecosystem, I think Solana is going to be the next area, or I guess the next chain, where all this capital is going to be moving. And I think that Pudgy Penguins is kind of like this. I would say that this is kind of like a signal, let's say. And again, getting a little bit into speculation here, but I do think this is a signal that they're kind of letting you know, hey, like maybe not now, probably not in the next couple of weeks, maybe even not for the next couple months, but maybe in a month or two. When the capital starts rotating somewhere else, it's probably going to rotate back into Solana's ecosystem, and this is why they're launching the token there. And and of course, it's going to attract capital from all these whales that have these like crazy Pudgy Penguin NFTs. Like, come on, guys, who do you think owns an NFT worth 100 grand? It's not it's not people like you and me. You know what I mean? It's big players that are moving lots of money around, and they're basically telling you with this is that like, hey, we're going to move some money onto Solana. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in a couple weeks, but soon. Sooner than later. So just keep your eyes peeled for that, guys. I think once this huge boom in Ethereum's ecosystem is over, maybe over the next month, then I do think we're going to see rotation back into Solana, probably maybe sometime in the spring of next year, maybe February, March or something. So again, it's not going to happen overnight, but this is something to watch. So for those of you who are thinking like, oh, like I'm feeling FOMO, like with all these cryptos pumping, there's a lot in Solana's ecosystem that have just basically been chopping sideways. Helium is a good example. It's probably at the top blue chip one. It's the only one that comes to mind, to be honest, off the top of my head. But there's a lot of blue chip projects in Solana's ecosystem, not meme coins. I mean, like actual projects that are waiting to have that same rip, like Uniswap, like Aave. And to be honest, guys, it's not going to surprise me at all if some of these if some of these Solana projects flip the Ethereum ones by market cap. There's you heard it here first. I'm sure lots of Solana maxis have been saying this for a long time. But anyways, guys, that's my alpha for today. If you did make it this far, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.